All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning in British Columbia, at least. So everyone is from different places, and it's good to see you all. I'm looking forward to our time together. We're going to get started in about a minute, and yeah, meanwhile, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces. I have a bit of a cold. Yeah, hi, Andre. I've had a bit of a cold this week, and so here's hoping and praying that my voice is going to last. I got my lemon tea here. Gonna go. Yeah. Good to see you, Judah. Good to see you, Jamie. Good, Andrea, Jordy. Yeah, some good friends here. Good morning, Navadita. All right. So, I'm gonna pull up my slides here. And so, yeah, welcome. I'm excited for the next hour that we're going to spend together. My goal is I'm going to be teaching faith-based leaders and entrepreneurs how to live centered and impactful lives through emotional agility. This is my goal. This is what I'm out to accomplish today. And so before we begin, wherever you're at, maybe this is something that you haven't had a lot of success. You haven't really been trained in the art of self-leadership. That's a possibility. And I want to just lay out that, hey, this isn't about mere willpower or just needing to be more disciplined. This is understanding yourself and how you make decisions and then being intentional about that. You see, most leadership training focuses on leadership styles and personalities, and it's just expected in our world that you somehow learn perfectly how to lead yourself without people teaching us these things. And so it's kind of crazy, but that's what I want to hit today. And what you're going to find is that self-leadership or emotional agility is incredibly natural. It shouldn't heap stress on you. It's more about finding what's really going on inside you, identifying those values, those emotions, those beliefs, and then aligning your actions up with that information. And so if you're here, I believe it's because you have a sense that there's more in life, that you want more, that you could be doing more. You just don't really know how. You don't know where that is. So what we're going to talk today are the first steps to possibly you radically altering your life, leading yourself. When you lead yourself, when you change yourself, your world changes. And so my goal today is to show leaders what you need to lead yourself well. And so possibly you're just beginning this journey. You've never heard of the term emotional agility, whatever the heck that is. Or perhaps you've read all the books and then in either case, you're going to find something to take away, whether some foundational principles or possibly some novel ideas that I have put together today. So in the next 60 minutes, my goal is to get you to accept that self-leadership and emotional agility is the key to long-lasting success with yourself and with others. Does that sound good? Go ahead. And so feel free, as we're going through this, to just type in the chat. What are the things that you're learning and respond and insights and highlights. Like, just light it up. Just be friendly with the chat. And let me know how you, what are things that are sticking out to you. And so where I used to be, I remember in college, I would often have to stay up entire nights to finish a paper because I found it difficult to focus. There was when I go back home to my parents' house, oftentimes in the basement, I go to the basement to my old room, and I had a desk that was set up right beside the wall. And right on the door frame on the inside, so you can't really see it, I wrote the words with a pen, "I hate algebra." And I think, most of us hated algebra when we were kids, but I think particularly for me, there was a sense of, I don't know how to focus. I can't focus on this. And so that was a problem that carried into my adult years and my college years. And focus, you will find, is actually comes from an emotional centeredness of being able to center what's going on inside. And so it's more emotional than it is actually cognitive. I related poorly to others. Maybe poorly is a stressed word, but lots of my friendships ended up being short-term friendships, and I didn't know why. Now, there was some that really lasted, and I'm very thankful for them, but there was often times where this friendship just petered out, and I didn't really know what the reason was. I often didn't know what I wanted because I didn't have clarity on my values. And so I struggled. I struggled with knowing who am I and what are my opinions? What do I feel? And where I am today, where I've come from, is I've come to the place where self-development and personal growth really is my passion. It has been for the last number of years. And I am self-employed. I have this business, Lionheart Leadership, and I have a strong self-motivation that leads me where I get up and I know what I didn't always have that. I've been able to help now dozens of clients move from the self-conscious to confident, to be able to change and to understand who they are and work with them. And we'll get into that a little bit. I've also learned the positive message behind my negative emotions. Hey, hold on, what's this feeling telling me in the positive message there? And I create emotions of power when I need them, a curiosity or an excitement that helps me to show up. And this is my beautiful family. This is my wife, Charlotte, and my daughter, Valerie. And Valerie is now 4 months. And so that's pretty exciting. So some of you who I haven't seen in years, hey, I'm a father.
Good idea.
Yeah, thanks. So my wake-up call. So I spent a number of years in ministry, actually in missions and Christian missions. And there was one time when I was coming back from a time in India, particularly I was there for 2.5 years. And I was stopped in Delhi, and I was at a friend's apartment. He wasn't there. He actually was at another part of the country. So I was just staying in his apartment. And I remember standing and looking out through a big window that he had into the courtyard where people would come and go. And, this particular time, there's just, as I was thinking back, unfortunately, there was a lot of regret. There was a lot of just tears running down my face, and I felt like a failure. I had wanted to serve, but I didn't feel like I made the impact, made the difference that I wanted to. I didn't have deep relationships from that time. I'd been in actually a relationship, a romantic relationship that ended up not working out because of, because of me. And I really disappointed myself. And so at this time, I just felt I have to do things differently. I have to learn I wasn't sure exactly what, but I knew that something had to change. And so over the next couple of years, I stepped back and I went on a journey of self-discovery. I read all that I can on personal growth. And I want to share today some of the things that I have learned. And so here we come to the content portion of this webinar. I want to talk about 3 aggravating truths about life. 3 aggravating truths about life. First, we're going to cover why working harder is not enough and what you need to do instead. Second, we're going to talk about how anyone can lead themselves successfully, regardless of who you are or where you came from. And then third, we're going to talk about how achieving goals can actually get in the way of your happiness. Now, imagine that, achieving goals, how it actually can be a hindrance to happiness and to success. And so point number 1, why working harder is not enough and what you need instead. Now, who here has experienced these problems? Procrastination, a feeling of inferiority or inadequacy, a people-pleasing or comparison, and a stress, for a worry or a frustration. I mean, has everyone experienced these? I think almost everyone has. And yeah. And so what's happening? What's happening in this situation when we have these feelings? So I had a lot of these feelings. Now, when I started my business, there was a lot of things that were against me. I didn't have business experience or awareness, no business experience or no business community around me. So I was starting cold. I was stepping into a realm that I knew absolutely nothing about. I had spent my younger years pursuing a lot of theological literacy and just had a real heart to know and to serve God, which was great, but that didn't necessarily develop my leadership or relationship competencies. That wasn't in my awareness. And so that ended up coming back and hindering me. I worked incredibly hard. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day. People would look up to me, but I didn't feel like I was successful. I wasn't acting like a successful person. And these times when it's like, I should feel differently about my life. I should feel differently about what's going on. I had a conversation with my wife, and we had a weekend off, and we were in a cabin actually overseeing like these fields and just to get away. And we were talking, and there was certain plans that we were talking about in the future, and I would lay out the pros, like why this would be a good decision, and then the cons, why this wouldn't be a good decision. But at the end of the day, I wasn't able to say what I wanted to do. I wasn't able to make that decision. And my wife, she said to me, she said, look, Oren, if I want just facts and information, I can go to Google. She said, I want to know who you are. What are your desires? What's your opinion here? And I recognize like, wow, I don't really know who I am. I don't really know what I feel and what I want in this situation. And so I was like, wow, I need to learn this. I need to learn who I am. And a week later, we found the book Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, who was the founder, the one who popularized the term emotional intelligence, which you've undoubtedly heard. And over time, I really studied and I really learned what the most successful people do to lead themselves. And I put it here. This is how I understand emotional agility. So you see on this side, we have that this is pictures goals, right? And so first, what we need is you need an aim in life, right? You need a mission, a clear goal. What are you going? And not just, I want to be healthier, but you need something specific. How do you want to be healthier? Do you want to lose calories? Do you want to gain muscle, right? You need a compelling future. And you need to be values-led and have that desire. And so these are essentially the goals. This is when you want to be emotionally agile, when you want to lead yourself, there's a reason, there's something that you're aiming for. And so if you want something you have never had before, right, it's going to follow that you're going to have to do something you've never done before. You're going to have to take different actions. You're going to have to change your behavior. But the problem is we are all in difficult situations and circumstances, right? Your experiences, we all come from dysfunctional families these days. And we all have been in difficult, I'm just not in a good place. The finances aren't where I want them to be. And we feel stuck, right? And so therefore we don't change our behavior. Or this person makes me so mad, right? I hate my work, but I can't do anything about it. So I realized, there's a step between these two. There's a couple steps between what we experience and how we act. We tell ourselves a story and we actually create an emotion. We create a feeling. And so what I mean, for example, two people try to reach a goal and they fail, right? And the one person tells themselves like, this means that I cannot achieve this goal. This means that I am a failure. They've told themselves a story. The resulting feeling is depression, right? The second person tells themselves a story. They say, wow, I failed. That actually means that that doesn't say anything about my ability to reach this goal. That just means that the path is a little bit longer, that there's something for me to learn on this journey. And how they feel then is they're excited. Right? They're still looking forward. They're learning and they're moving forward. And so here's the progression, really. Every time you see something and when you have a feeling, did you know that is always coming through a filter? What do I mean by filter? Well, these are your interpretations. This is your culture, your memories, your decisions, values that you have, beliefs that you have, possibly about the world or about yourself, or attitudes. And your filters are creating your emotional state day after day. Every time you have a feeling, you can ask yourself, what is the story that I'm telling myself? Where is this coming from? And so that helped. But at the same time, I recognized, okay, there's still something missing. What's missing here in this puzzle piece? And so these represent, the red circles and the blue circles represent emotional loops. You could call them emotional habits, right? And the red is negative emotional habits. The blue is positive emotional habits. How do we respond to what we feel? Because every time we make an action, every time we respond or we don't respond, what's happening in your brain? Well, you're creating neural synapses. You're creating a pathway that the next time you face a situation, it's going to be easier to fall into that again. And so the emotionally agile person with the red circles, they're going to accept and explore those negative emotions. Why am I feeling this? Where is this coming from? And then taking responsibility and learning and adjusting when I'm feeling frustrated, right? To say, hey, hold on a minute. Where is this coming from? There's some expectations that have been violated. Maybe I have to change my expectations, or maybe there's something that needs to change. And then with positive emotions, the emotionally agile person has to be intentional. The emotionally agile person is intentional with celebrating their positive emotions instead of just, when things are good, you feel good. When things are bad, you feel bad. It's saying, hey, I'm going to cultivate positive emotions and I'm going to live in a place of gratitude. Does that make sense? Isn't this helpful for, this is what's actually going on. This is how your inner world is working. And so it requires a high self-awareness to be aware. You know, back when my wife said, if I want to know facts and information, I could go to Google. I didn't know what I was feeling like. I couldn't name those. And so there was a process there of learning and then being intentional. And so why working harder is not enough in what you need instead? Because with emotional agility, you can have all of these feelings and you can say, hey, what's going on here? What is the story that I'm telling myself? I need to be self-aware, and then I can respond intelligently. So, and that's going to help you long-term. That's going to help you long-term to, instead of getting stuck in these emotions, to processing them and moving, and actually, they can actually help you. There's a positive message here. So for example, procrastination. Usually when you're procrastinating, it's because you don't want to do something that you know you need to do, but there's a deeper reason. There's something actually that you're looking for. I'm looking for actually, rest, or I'm looking for peace. And when you understand that, that's going to help you move forward. And so I see Abdullah has his hand raised. Abdullah, we're going to have question and answer time at the end. And so you're welcome to, and so if anyone has questions or thoughts, like, feel free, write them down. We're going to get to question and answer time at the end. And so this is Nathalie. And so notice her shift to emotional agility. So she says, I can tell you that I have absolutely been transformed over these last few weeks. Oren has a way of truly allowing you to dig deep and find out what those negative thoughts are in your head and where they're coming from and how to reverse those thoughts and really focus on the positive and have a spirit of gratitude. The discussions that we have had have truly been amazing. There is no other word I can use to describe it. And I'm so grateful that I've had a chance to work with Oren. And so you can see Nathalie, she was stuck in those negative thoughts. And she, through the emotional agility, was able to learn and to change and to reverse them and focus on gratitude. Isn't that great? Isn't that where we all wish to be? Can you imagine what this would look like in your life? Really cultivating and staying in this place of positive thoughts and staying in the place of gratitude. And so maybe you're thinking, oh, that's great for you, Oren, but I don't think I could really do this. I come from a dysfunctional family, as we all do. or I'm not talented like successful people, therefore I'm not going to be successful. I know that many of us feel this way. This isn't a common topic that's talked about, but it's there. It's underneath the surface for a lot, not everyone, but a lot of us. And so this brings us to point number 2, is how, can actually read this, how, dang it, Zoom is not allowing me. Here we go. How anyone can lead themselves successfully, regardless of who you are and where you came from. This is for anyone. This is for anyone. And what you need, I'm going to be talking about a growth mindset, because success is only out of reach for one kind of person, the person who is dead. They cannot be successful. They cannot lead themselves well. But anyone else, we can learn. We can learn how to do this. I remember I would often see talented people who succeeded, and then I would see myself. There would be this contrast, comparing myself with others, and how I viewed myself. I thought, I'm just a person who makes mistakes. I'm just a person who's not that talented, who's not that smart. This is just who I am, and there's not that much I can do about it. I thought that inability to build relationships was rather fixed. It was outside of my control. And so as my wife and I, after we got married, I was in northern British Columbia, northern Canada, farming and preparing to start this business. And I was listening to audiobooks and just really feeling like I'm in way over my head. And I remember listening to one particular podcast and hear John Maxwell. John Maxwell is an author and a leadership expert. And he was talking. He said, if I could sit down in front of you, if there was one thing I wanted you to know, and he said, it is that I believe in you. I remember as soon as he said that, that really struck me, like right in my heart. And that really gave me the courage in that moment to say, yeah, I believe I can do this. And so if you're here, if you're saying, man, I have a hard time believing in myself, let me tell you, I want to do what John Maxwell did for me. And I want you to know that I believe in you. You can do it. You can get there. Right? And if you don't believe that for yourself, you need to find someone who can believe that for you for a while until you're able to own that belief. So we're going to contrast a growth mindset with what is called a fixed mindset. And so I'm indebted here to, this is from the author Carol Dweck. She's a psychologist and wrote a book called Mindset. And so a growth mindset really believes that, hey, intelligence can be developed and success. I can learn, I can grow, I can change. And the fixed mindset essentially believes that intelligence is static. Give me a second here. And so when a person with a fixed mindset faces challenges, when they face obstacles, they give up easily because it's not really going to go anywhere, right? Things are pretty much fixed. There's not really much that can change. And so challenges are to be avoided and obstacles are to be avoided. Maybe you recognize aspects here of your own life. You see, because the fixed mindset and the growth mindset is really a spectrum. We all have some of each of these, but you want to move towards a growth mindset. The growth mindset essentially, when they face challenges and obstacles, recognizes that, hey, challenges are to be embraced. I love a good challenge because it's going to stretch me. It's going to grow me. Obstacles are a test for me to persist and for me to push forward. Like, right, who knows that? Who knows that feeling? We've experienced both a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. But the fixed mindset is where we can get stuck. And so the second is a person with a growth mindset or a fixed mindset sees effort basically as fruitless. Effort isn't, I can put in effort. It's not really, things aren't really going to change. Criticism is to be avoided, or criticism really, cuts me down in my personal self-value. And the success of others is threatening. The success of others is threatening, or it shows that, this person is better than me. Whereas from a growth mindset perspective, effort is the path to actually mastery. Effort is what you pour in effort and you can actually develop and grow. Criticism is something that can be learned from and can be thought, reflected on. And then the success of others actually is something that you can listen to. You can say, okay, I can be inspired here. That's great. I'm glad this other person was successful. What can I learn? Can I talk to you, successful person? And so you see the difference here. The fixed mindset and the growth mindset. There's a story in the Bible where Jesus is talking about talents. There's a king who's going away. He gave to one servant 2 talents, and that servant put those to work, right? And developed them and said, I'm going to invest these and I'm going to make a return. When the king came back, the person with the 2 talents or the 5 talents had doubled what they had been given. Whereas a person who had been given 1 talent in this parable hid it. Essentially, what was a fixed mindset. They hid what they had and they did not yield a return. And so here we go. God is after the person with a growth mindset, the person who says, with the things that I have been given, I'm going to invest those, I'm going to develop those, and I'm going to grow. So that's what I encourage you to find, this growth mindset. Essentially, it breaks down to your belief. What do you believe about yourself? Because what you believe is what you see, excuse me. And what does it mean to be made in the image of God? When you're made in the image of God, there is I believe there's a potential that each one person here has. Oh, I'm sorry. And I can't find the stupid mute button. And so how do we form beliefs? How do we form beliefs? Essentially, it's like a court case. It's like a court case. How does a court case come to a conclusion? Well, there's 2 things. There's the evidence that is paid attention to, and there is how you interpret it. So when you form a negative belief about yourself, excuse me, I need to. All right, we're going to keep going. Essentially, think of something about yourself that you like, that you're excited about. Can everyone think of something that you like and that you're excited about yourself? Right? And so the question is, how did you do that? How did you form that belief? How do you know that you are that thing? Essentially, you've noticed times in your life that you've done those things, you've exemplified this certain quality, and that helps you to form the belief that, hey, I am in fact this positive quality. And the same thing with negative beliefs. When you have a negative belief about yourself, it's because you've had experiences where you did not experience that. So when I believed that I wasn't successful, that was because there were certain experiences in my life where I had felt like I failed. And because I saw them as failures, I ended up interpreting them to myself that I am a failure. And in order to change that, well, I had to change how I looked at those times of fail, to see them as learning opportunities. And then also to notice times where I had been successful. And that helped me to change that belief and to form that mindset in me, that growth mindset. And so looking at Mitch, Mitch is an electrician. And notice his shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. He said, before I started working with Oren, I felt like I was a failure in life, that I wasn't where I should be, and I wasn't making any progress. My sense of self-worth was very low. I didn't know what to do to improve that. That also was showing up in my work life and home life. My relationships were strained or non-existent. I noticed that I wasn't connecting with people. I felt like I was just in a rut and I was stuck. I knew that I needed to make some changes and wasn't sure how or what these changes were. Do you feel that? You feel that, he felt stuck. He didn't have a sense of self-worth. His relationships were strained. Moving to the place where he says working with Oren really helped me to focus on the big picture of my life, to nail down attainable goals that weren't just generalizations, and to move forward to get those goals. I started moving forward. He has helped me to change how I see myself. I don't see myself as a failure anymore. I have a better understanding of why I want to do certain things, and I am more in touch with the deeper desires, the deeper goals that I have. My relationships are better. At home, I'm more articulate in sharing what I feel, as well as more patient. At work, if I have a negative experience with a coworker, I don't dwell on it like I used to, but I instead break it down and understand what my part was in it, and then move on. I also delegate and explain better than I did before. So you see how Mitch has formed a growth mindset. He says, I'm able to learn and to grow and to develop. And so point number 3 is how achieving goals can actually get in the way of your success and happiness. I know this sounds non-intuitive, but how achieving goals can actually get in the way of your success and happiness. Essentially, what we need to build is a values and experience alignment, or value and decision alignment. And so what do I mean by values? Values are not just responsibilities that are important to you, such as faith or family or business. What I mean by values are experiences that are important to you, such as joy or connection or peace. It's really that experience that we feel. And so for myself, I had high standards for myself, standards of excellence. But what I did was never enough. So I wasn't able to feel the sense of accomplishment or achievement, something in my life that I thought was going to bring me happiness. And when I reached it, it was only temporary. It suddenly, there was something else. There was the next step. So for example, I thought being in ministry was going to give me joy and happiness, that I was doing what God wanted, but I felt like I needed to do more. So I went into missions. It was the radical thing to do. So I became a missionary. But that didn't really give me long-lasting happiness either. So I thought, okay, making disciples, right? Having a successful ministry with lots of people was going to give me the peace that I'm in the right place. But I never had enough. I never helped enough, never added enough value. When I started my business, I thought being an entrepreneur would help me to grow and have adventures and make an impact. I immediately started growing, but I thought not enough. When I have financial freedom, then I will have accomplished something. I was adventurous, but I felt when I'm traveling to different places speaking, I can take long vacations, go on adventures, then I will really feel adventurous. And so has anyone felt this, where you have a goal and when you reach the goal, it wasn't enough? You felt like, oh, you needed to do more.
Go drink something, Oren.
I don't know if I'm going to make it here.
just pause and have a glass of water. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Chamomile tea and honey is also good.
Yeah, there you go.
Got a lemon honey right here.
Listen to Jamie. She'll get you all settled up.
Yeah. So who here, like, think of a time when you have set a goal that didn't actually give you the feelings that you thought it would. And what was the problem there? What happens is we have these moving goalposts. You set a goal and then you attain that goal, and then the goal feels like it moves further ahead, right? It's hard. Oh, I can't attain it yet. There's something more. And you attain that, and oh, there's something more. And what we need is, you need to ask yourself one question, is what are the values behind the goal? What are the values? What am I looking for? For me, 3 of my highest values are growth, adventure, and impact. Growth, adventure, and impact. And so we need to make this shift from scarcity is I'm going to feel this when I achieve this, to abundance, recognizing that I am a person of blank, right? So instead of I will feel successful when I impact 1,000 people, or I am a person of success. This is part of who I am. And therefore you can live from this place of abundance. And yeah, achieving and making a difference is going to be something that you're going to do, but it's going to be as an outflow. And so draw out what your values are. Recognize those values in your experiences and your identity, and then make decisions that align with those values. Jason Wood said, over the course of our program, Oren has helped me identify more clearly the values that I seek to live by, values of graciousness, peace, and joy. And I've been able to disarm negative memories that have kept me stuck in narratives of fear and anxiety, and transform them into positive memories that can help me move closer towards my values. The light bulb moments I experienced in sessions and the resulting transformation I am experiencing as I relate to my own memories in a more constructive way will stick with me for a lifetime. So as Jason identified his values and aligned his life up with those, the result was this feeling of abundance, right? This transformation that he was talking about. So imagine if you could experience an emotional agility, an inner strength, and a centeredness. Would that help you to be successful? Right? Imagine if you could stop playing victim to your old scripts and truly believe the potential that God has placed in you. Would that help you to be successful? And then third, imagine if you could know and experience your values, living a life without fear and uncertainty. Would that help you to be successful? And so let's get real, like who's excited here? Who's excited about what we just talked about having beliefs of abundance, living from your vows, experiencing emotional agility? Yeah. How many of you feel like you've just kind of drank from a fire hose? I know we covered a lot of information. Might feel a little bit like this. And so I've created a special package for those who are ready to take action now and to take control of their lives. And so are you ready to hear about it? Can I share? So today I want to offer the Peak Performance course. That's the course that the previous testimonials that you were looking, those clients have gone through. And then also the course 2.0, it's going to be new and it's going to be improved. I'm going to redo the course. And so you're going to have access to all the original course materials and then plus the new materials that are coming out. This is where we're going to break down the peak performance model. And each session, we really break down how to do each one of these things. How do you identify your filters to change that emotional state? How do you identify and work with those negative loops and to cultivate positive emotional loops and those positive emotions so you can experience being emotionally agile? In part one, this is a breakdown of the program. So one, we're going to get the map. You're going to learn the framework for how your emotions work and how you create your belief systems. Two, we're going to uncover blind spots and really take self-awareness to the next level and understand exactly what you're sensing and why. And then three, we're going to align with your values. Aligning with your deepest values is going to give you increased purpose, motivation, and confidence. And in four, we're going to help you to overcome resistance, understanding the positive message behind your negative emotions and those negative emotional loops. In five, we're going to increase resourcefulness. I'm going to help you to cultivate and create positive emotional states, to be fully present and engaged. And then six, I'm going to help you to transform self-beliefs, to transform those beliefs that you have about yourself that are negative into beliefs, congruent beliefs that are positive, so you can be who you want to be. Now, this has come out of my journey to become emotionally agile. I've spent over 5 years, I've spent thousands of hours of study in the fields of personal development, spiritual formation, emotional intelligence, and neurolinguistic programming. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars into my own growth so that I can serve others, so that I can help them learn the things that I have. And I've taken coaches I've had coaches and taken trainings and learning to get here. And I've listened to hundreds of books, read and studied, and I've compiled them into this course so that you don't have to go through this time that I did in order to feel this emotional agility. And so whether this is the first time that you've heard of this term, or whether you've been learning and applying personal growth for a number of years and are ready to go to the next level, the emotional agility course is going to help you to really do that, help you to understand how to lead myself to the next level. And so the peak performance course that we're talking about, its value is at it's not $5, it's $5,000. And then next, the emotional agility toolkit, the emotional agility toolkit. So in the course, you get the principles, you get the understandings. This is how emotional agility works. You get the understanding, but what's also needed is the specifics, right? Who here needs specifics? When you take a course that helps you understand, whatever it is that you're doing, you need also something to help you in the specific moments. And so this isn't just principles and ideas, but the practical step-by-step guides for the actual situations. And so how to change those negative emotions, how to elicit your values. And so here are some of the tools. Well, here are the tools in the toolbox. You have the values elicitation, drawing out your values. How to build that emotional vocabulary, how to visualize in a way that's going to help you create a compelling future. How to transform those beliefs, and a really step-by-step guide for how to do so. And this is incredibly powerful. These tools I use every day. Something that one of my clients, Jeremy Hugim, said, he said, I think what benefited me most about the emotional agility model is being able to practically change how I emotionally respond to the experiences of my life. When my children are cranky and difficult, I can pause, be aware of the stress I'm feeling and the good reason why I feel it, and choose to respond in the way I desire, with patience and grace. When I need to face difficult conversations at work, I can visualize ahead of time how I want to positively respond with confidence and then better live that out. And when I have disagreements with my wife and feel angry or irritable, I'm able to better understand the positive intent behind my negative feelings and better change my behavior in response. So you see how Jeremy has been able to use the tools to change his negative beliefs, to identify the positive beliefs hidden there. And so the emotional agility toolkit is valued at $2,500. Third thing I want to offer today in this package is weekly empowerment calls. Now, I recognize that having a course and having a toolkit is good, but really often being able to work with other people is what we need. And so we're going to have weekly 60-minute mastermind group meetings. This is going to be Monday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to facilitate it. We're going to meet. You'll be able to process your learnings, to share with other participants as you learn and grow together. And here's where you get the value of benefiting from the experiences and the perspectives of others. And because we get stuck in your situations alone. We get stuck in our situations when we're alone, and being able to share those with a group and to share those with someone who's been there before, you're able to move forward and experience the growth that you are made to. The best times of growth are being with fellow travelers and and sharing insights together. It's also having a guide who has been there before, who's able to answer tough questions and help you to get through difficult situations. This can save you years of wandering around in the desert to figure these things out yourself, as I did. And so come for the programs and stay for the relationships. And then I'm going to get a bonus as well, the Lionheart Leadership Inner Circle membership. This is valued as priceless. There's going to be a closed Facebook group where you'll be able to talk through these things and to ask questions and to share wins together as we go through the week. And so the total value of the package is $10,000. That's the peak performance course for $5,000, the emotional agility toolkit for $2,500, and the implementation calls for $2,500. The total value today here is $10,000. Now, if all this did was to help you to change your stress, procrastination, people pleasing, instead of just trying to push through, where you can step back and lead yourself in a healthy way, would it be worth it? Right. Also, if this helped you to change your belief in yourself so that you had a confidence that you are full of potential, that this is for you, not just talented, successful people out there, would that be worth it if you were able to change that belief about yourself? And third, if all this did was help you to step back from your endless pursuit of goals and actually live according to the values behind those goals, would it be worth it? You see, I had two choices. I could have gone really as cheap as possible and thrown something together, but it would not have been as valuable for you. And so because I wanted to give you the best value possible for a slightly larger investment on your side, I can put more time, energy, and resources into guaranteeing your success and to helping you get and become the person who you want to be. And so what would the end result be worth to you? How much would you pay for a life lived according to your values in your family, workplace, and community? What would it be worth to you? To not have to fight or get stuck in fears, in stress, and people pleasing, or in inferiority, but to identify the positive message and work with that. To live with a future focus, choosing where you're going and who you are becoming. What would that be worth to you? And so because my goal here is to make an impact, I want this to go and I want this to transform thousands of people's lives. I want this to be available to as many people as possible. And so $10,000. I'm not going to give it to you for $10,000. What about the peak performance course, the emotional agility toolkit, and the implementation calls, and the inner circle membership? Shall it be $7,500? Would that be a good deal? Would that be something that you would jump at? maybe $5,000. That's 50% off of the deal. Or even $2,500. That's 25% of the price. I want to offer you today the best deal that you have been offered here. I'm going to offer this to you for $1,997. And here is the link. You can go to, Charlotte, can you post that in the chat? Or I'll post that in the chat and I'll have that. So here's the special offer. The course where you're going to learn this emotional agility, the toolkit where you'll be able to apply these things to yourself, and where you'll be able to really, where the rubber meets the road, develop and become who you want to be with these specific tools. And then the implementation calls where we'll meet together weekly and I'll help you to overcome those challenges and really to form where you want to go. And the inner circle membership where you get to grow with others on the same journey. And so one time only for $1,997. And so what would it cost you elsewhere? I've never seen a program like this. I know Tony Robbins and his coaching is his full coaching programs is $45,000, I heard. And so why should you take this step today? I encourage you, this is something that you deserve. The price is only this low until midnight tomorrow, Thursday night at midnight Pacific Standard Time. And so your future is waiting. I just encourage you. And for the action takers, for those that are ready to take action now, for the first 5 people, I'm going to offer you just a private, complimentary, one-on-one coaching call with me where I'm going to help you to really experience a breakthrough. And so essentially you have 2 choices. You could not take action. You can stay as you are. This is where you get to keep your situation, your frustrations, your negative emotions, and your poor self-talk. And I don't want that for you. The second option is you can really step out. You can step out into the adventure. And if you're still hesitating, I want to make it a no-brainer for you. And so I want to offer the 7-day breakthrough guarantee. And so hop on board, have your call with me. If you're not certain after 7 days, send me a message and I will refund you 100%. And so because I'm confident in the power of the program, because I'm confident in the life transformation, I'm going to take the risk. And so I want you to give yourself a chance to really transform your life. And so here it is. Here's the deal for you. $1,997. And so the offer is only open until Thursday at midnight because the first call, we're going to start next week on Monday at 12 noon. And I want to spend the rest of the time, I want to spend my time implementing this with you. There we go. So thank you, everybody. And let me, there we go. So thank you for coming. And I wanted to open it up for question and answer. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to say? Now I see the chat.
Sure, I'll just ask you, part of who you are, Oren, is a person of faith, and your faith is what drives your values, your beliefs, and then your actions. And I wondered how much of that comes into the course that you're offering and this program.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. As I do come from a perspective of faith that is apparent in the program, but at the same time, it's not pushed on someone. And so I live who I am, I believe what I believe, and I'll share that, but you're not forced to believe it, or it's not presented in a forceful way. It's just presented as, this is how I see God's handiwork in this.
Kind of the way you were today with all of us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
How do you know Oladusi? The wonderful, she's on your web page.
Oh, Oladuni.
Yeah, how do you know her?
We met on networking.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's quite the testimonial. That's good.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, my
Thank
question
you very
is,
much. Very interesting proposition, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you,
Orion.
Andre.
Thank you.
Robert, you're muted. Andre, you're in. Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. There we go. What brought you to doing all of this?
Well, as I shared in the program, it really came out of my own journey and my own experiences and saying, wow, this is important. This took me a lot to go on the adventure and to find and to apply to my own life. And so that's something that I wanted to pass on to others. Yeah. All right, folks.
Hello.
Hi, Kate.
Yeah, hi. So I kind of got the tail end of the meeting, and I really appreciate what you had to say. It's been a while since I've been able to hear you be able to speak about what you believe in and giving your testimony, and just being able to open up about your experiences and how to help people in their situations. And with that being said, I think I'd be very interested in what you're offering. Yeah, it's very good. I really loved it.
Good. Okay, well, thanks, Kate.
Yeah.
Well, let's I'll follow up with you, Kate, then afterwards. Because the link is somewhere lost in the slides.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? Good to see you, Judah. It's been a few years, man. Got a nice beard. Andre, you're in Ukraine, hey?
Yeah, I'm in Ukraine now, in Zaporizhia.
You're in Zaporizhia. How are things there?
Today is not bad. Is normal.
Okay.
Almost normal for today.
Okay.
From day to day, things change, but today is absolutely normal.
Yeah.
Children go and I work, and transport working, and shops works.
Yeah.
Not bad. We still fight, and Ukraine is strong country, and we too, and our children too. Thank
It
you
is that.
for US, Canada, people from US and Canada and other countries to help us. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah.
And for your work, really serious work on this evening, and really serious proposition. I'm
Good.
appreciated.
Okay. Thank you, Andre. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I will send out an email following up, and it's good to see you all.
Yeah, thanks, Oren. Good to see you as well.